said, I want you to anoint this servant. I want you to anoint this rejected stone. I want you to anoint this man David, who was rejected by his own brothers. I want you to anoint this same man who was treated as an abominable outcast. I want you to anoint this man who was looked down upon. I want you to anoint this man who was marginalized. I want you to anoint this man who was ostracized. I want you to anoint this man who was not considered to be a member of the nuclear family. This was the instruction of the Lord, beloved saints of God. Beloved saints of God, the way of the Lord this hour is this. It doesn't matter how you were born into this world. God chose you to be great. You were born for greatness. You may have been born outside wedlock, just like David was considered to be born outside wedlock, but God chose him. David was indeed born for greatness. Beloved saints of God, you may have been considered to be a child who was born outside wedlock, but God has not forsaken you. God has not abandoned you. You may be treated inferiorly by your family members, but God has not abandoned you. You may have been born as a mistake to your parents, but I want you to know that as long as you are in this world, you were born for greatness. God has a purpose for your life. You may have no one to stand by your side, just like David had no one to stand by his side except his father. David received injustice, but David waited for God's right time to vindicate his injustice. Beloved saints of God, God will come through for you one day, just like he did for David. David had no one to comfort him. David had no one to talk to except his own mother. David lived a lowly and despised life. Listen, child of God. God knows about your plans. He hasn't forgotten about you. Now, when David was anointed as a king of Israel, when David was anointed as a king of Israel, shouts of joy were heard from the mother's lips. The mother shouted for joy, and she uttered these words: the rejected stone has now become a chief cornerstone. These words were simply uttered by David's mother, Neat servant. Beloved saints of God, God has a way of making the less privileged counted. God has a way of uplifting the rejected and despised. God has a way of making the unnoticed noticed. God has a way of lifting up the downcast. Beloved saints of God, I want you to believe that you were born for greatness. You were brought into existence, not just to live, but to impact the world with the greatness that God has put in you. Never in any way should you look down upon yourself, because God has a purpose for your life. Beloved saints of God, believe that you were born for greatness. The world awaits to see what God has put in you.